What is something that poor people can do that rich people can't? Be immune to frivolous or even serious lawsuits because they have no money to pay a judgment. Overthrow the bourgeoisie. Make plans to become wealthy. Mine is step 1, become a pharmacist. Step 2, stay a pharmacist. Have patronizing articles about how we can save money written by someone who tosses more money away on Starbucks than we spend on necessities each year. I used to be poor as F. Now I'm rich, I guess. One thing I can't do anymore is politely refuse things because they're too expensive. If my cheapness prevents me from buying something, anything from expensive beer to a new couch, to replace the one I've had to partially rebuild, there's always a little fight with anyone who knows my salary. Are you serious? You make X and you can't afford a couch? Damn right. My path to wealth was my ability to live on very little and still build savings. Get excited over a $5 homemade gift, or just a card, when you know that $3 card or $5 gift put a dent in someone's food budget. Not being begged for big money, and not being called mean for refusing to give it. Edit by 4. A little off topic, but this reminds me of one of my favorite short stories. The Fisherman and the Businessman. One day a fisherman was lying on a beautiful beach, with his fishing pole propped up in the sand and his solitary line cast out into the sparkling blue surf. He was enjoying the warmth of the afternoon sun and the prospect of catching a fish. About that time, a businessman came walking down the beach trying to relieve some of the stress of his workday. He noticed the fisherman sitting on the beach, and decided to find out why this fisherman was fishing instead of working harder to make a living for himself and his family. "You aren't going to catch many fish that way," said the businessman. "You should be working rather than lying on the beach." The fisherman looked up at the businessman, smiled and replied, "And what will my reward be?" "Well, you can get bigger nets and catch more fish," was the businessman's answer. "And then what will my reward be?" asked the fisherman, still smiling. The businessman replied, "You will make money and you'll be able to buy a boat, which will then result in larger catches of fish." "And then what will my reward be?" asked the fisherman again. The businessman was beginning to get a little irritated with the fisherman's questions. "You can buy a bigger boat and hire some people to work for you," he said. "And then what will my reward be?" repeated the fisherman. The businessman was getting angry. "Don't you understand? You can build up a fleet of fishing boats, sail all over the world, and let all your employees catch fish for you." Once again the fisherman asked, "And then what will my reward be?" The businessman was red with rage and shouted at the fisherman, "Don't you understand that you can become so rich that you will never have to work for your living again? You can spend all the rest of your days sitting on this beach, looking at the sunset. You won't have a care in the world." The fisherman, still smiling, looked up and said, "And what do you think I'm doing right now?" They can become rich. Taste macaroni and cheese made from that block of salty government cheese they had back in the 80s. Was great actually. Go out and leave the door open. Avoid gold diggers. It's easier to meet someone who loves you for the way you are, and not for the money. You looked at them. We're the first ones to starve, we're the first ones to die, the first ones in line for that pie in the sky, and we're always the last when the cream is shared out for the worker is working, when the fat cat's about. And when the sky darkens, and the prospect is war, who's given a gun, and then pushed to the fore, and expected to die for the land of our birth, though we've never owned one lousy handful of earth? Make fun of other poor people for being poor in social settings. It's self-deprecating when a fellow poor person does it, but if a rich guy makes fun of poor people at a party, that comes off super tasteless. Use the emergency room and hospital services without having medical insurance. If they can't pay, the state ultimately picks up the tab, or the hospital takes a loss. Enjoy the little things in life. I know a lot of rich people who have to spend hundreds of dollars at a time to enjoy themselves. Die from common treatable diseases. Suck some penis for a hamburger. Starve at the end of the month, because your disability check and debt never stretch that far. Source, me. Having a wife 20 years younger and people will not be like, that must be true love/s. Sleep under a bridge unironically. Know that my husband still loves me, and can be happy with me even if we are broke. Be charged money for not having enough money in their bank account. Live meager lifestyles without disappointing their parents. The luxury of knowing that their friends/family actually like them and are not there just for the money. Complain about money without sounding like an ass. Pack all their belongings into their car and move. Bet their bottom dollar on something. Great, you made it to the end. Now smash that like button and subscribe for even more videos like this one.